Good afternoon, everybody. We're going to call this meeting to order. This is the October 22nd, 2025 meeting of the Indiana Historic Preservation Review Board. I apologize in advance for not having a mic today, so I'm going to try to project as much as I can. Can you hear me okay at this level? Wonderful. Thank you very much. And again, we appreciate everybody coming out. Beautiful fall day in Indiana. We're going to start off with an approval of our July 2025 meeting minutes. Do I have a motion for approving those minutes?
I make the motion, lady.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second, Jason Myerson.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion of the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. Next up is our Division Director report from Beth McCord.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In September, we celebrated Indiana Archaeology Month with a variety of activities across the state. Initial feedback indicates that the activities were once again well attended and well received. The last week of September into October, the statewide Preserving Historic Places Conference was held in Fort Wayne. We again set a record for attendees, so that was great. There were some great presentations, and next year we'll be in Franklin, Indiana. I have a brief update on the status of the Historic Preservation Fund for 2025 and 2026 for the board. We have finally received and are in the process of setting up HPF 25. Yes, the start date was October of 2024, but we can now move forward to award the top 2025 sub-grant selections. With the funding delays, not all of those recommended for funding will receive an award. We're coordinating with those to ensure that they still want to receive and move forward with the grants. Regarding fiscal year 2026 sub-grants, you all approved the evaluation criteria in April, and we intend to post those application materials and information should those funding opportunities actually become available. I also wanted to let the board know today that due to the government shutdown, the National Register nominations cannot be accepted by National Park Service right now. Once the government reopens, the portal will reopen, and we'll get those submitted as soon as we can. We did hear that historic tax credit projects, though, are still being processed at this time. So I appreciate your patience on that, and that concludes my reports.
Thank you, Beth. Any questions for Beth? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to the next section of our meeting agenda, which is the National Register applications. And first up, we have the Oxford Town Square Historic District.
Thank you. The Oxford Town Square Historic District is a small commercial district that has a rectangular public square at its center with late 19th and early to mid 20th century commercial buildings on the perimeter. Brick streets surround the square, which was originally platted as the Courthouse Square for Benton County. The district is eligible for the National Register of Historic Places under Criterion C in the area of architecture for the community's examples of neoclassical, Italianate, Romanesque, and Gothic Revival architecture. Toward the end of the period of significance, the Oxford Post Office was constructed in a standardized design popular during the Kennedy administration. The district also qualifies under Criterion A in the area of commerce as an important commercial center for the region. Staff recommends approval for the state and national registers.
Thank you, Holly. Any questions for Holly? We do have a couple members of the public here today that are in favor of the action and would be available for questions. And I'd also invite you, if you're interested, to make any additional comments to what you heard from Holly. If not, that is fine too. Okay, thank you. Do we have a motion to forward this application on to the National Park Service in Washington, D.C. for additional federal and state approvals?
I'll make that motion, lady.
Thank you.
I will second that motion, Seaver.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. Next, we have the Country Club of Terre Haute.
Thank you. The club grounds include a clubhouse, professionally designed golf course, swimming pool, tennis courts, and associated support buildings. The club organized in 1898 and obtained the Allendale site in 1919. For the course design, the club hired Devereaux Emmett, who planned the first 9 holes. Indiana golf legend Bill Diddle added 9 holes in 1925 and slightly reconfigured the first 9 holes in 1928. With some modifications, the course retains its characteristic parkland style, which is based on strategic play, whereby the designer intended several possible approaches to playing a given hole. The property meets criterion A for its locally significant role in entertainment and recreation and social history, and criterion C in the area of landscape architecture for the intact period course created by a master designer. Staff recommends approval for the state and national registers.
Thank you, Holly. Any questions for Holly? Okay, once again, we do have a few members of the public here that favor the action, and one would be available for questions. If you'd like to make any comments at this time, that would be great. And again, if not, that's fine also. Okay, thank you. Hearing none, do we have a motion to forward this application on for further approvals?
So moved, Shaw.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second. Jason Larison.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion from the board? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. Next, we have the North Side Industrial Historic District.
The district includes 5 contributing buildings related to 3 industries: National Stove Works, Anchor Stove and Range Company, New Albany Gas and Light Company, and Day Leather Company Tannery. The resources represent development in the local industrial sector as expressed in the construction dates of the resources ranging from circa 1880 to 1928. New Albany became a significant industrial center soon after its founding in 1813. When the New Albany and Salem Railroad completed the first portion of their line in 1851, industry shifted away from both the riverfront and skilled shipmaking to heavy industry and mass production. The area around the depot was strategically located to take advantage of the rail line. The district meets criterion A in the area of industry and criterion C in the area of architecture. The district's buildings are significant for their typology, mill construction consisting of heavy masonry shells with heavy timber post and beam floors. The sole example of the newer daylight factory typology, the foundry, features banks of windows and metal trusses for greater light and air access. Staff recommends approval for the state and national registers.
Thank you, Holly. Any questions? Okay, hearing none, do we have a motion for forwarding this on for further state and federal approvals?
I so move. Jason Larison.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second, Whitey.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. And we are actually going to take our agenda slightly out of order, just given the fact that we have packed this room today. So we want to be respectful of everybody's time. So next up, we are going to go to St. John's Missionary Baptist Church.
Thank you. St. John's Missionary Baptist Church was founded by an African-American congregation in 1916 in the Martindale-Brightwood neighborhood on Indianapolis's near northeast side. The congregation constructed the first phase of the large neoclassical brick church in 1926 and completed the second phase in 1949. A 3-story addition was constructed on the back of the church in 1980. In 2009, the congregation moved into a new facility, but retained ownership of the historic building in which other congregations continue to meet. St. John's Missionary Baptist Church is eligible under criterion A in the areas of social history and ethnic heritage. The church and congregation are significantly tied to Indianapolis's Black history, social and civic affairs, and were particularly active in the civil rights movement of the 1950s to 1970s. The church is eligible under criterion B for its association with Pastor Dr. Andrew J. Brown, a crucial figure in Indianapolis's civil rights movement. Brown's civic engagement for racial equality established organizations in the city and state, and he befriended and aided national leaders of the civil rights movement. The building is also eligible under criterion C in the area of architecture. The simple neoclassical form, dominated by its 2-story portico, has established the building as a landmark in the neighborhood. Criteria consideration A is indicated due to the building's ownership and use by the congregation of St. John's Missionary Baptist Church, as well as other organizations. Staff recommends approval for the state and national registers.
Thank you, Holly. Any questions or comments from the board members?
I would, April Siebert, I would like to make a comment. I thank anyone who worked toward this nomination for coming, if you're here today. And I really appreciate nominations like these because this is clearly a place that is so important to a particular neighborhood and a particular group of people in and around Indianapolis. So thank you.
Thank you. And we have many, many pages of folks here that favor this action, would be available for questions. But if anyone would like to speak on behalf of the group or make any statements, those are welcome at this time. Yes, sir.
Can you hear me back here?
You should be in my seat.
Okay, everyone, thank you. And I've been given us written script to make sure I'm quick and out of talking. Thank you for this opportunity to acknowledge our historical church and property of 1701 Dr. Andrew J. Brown Avenue, formerly known as Martindale Avenue. And we want to especially thank you on behalf of our members that received us in depth, which is estimated around 100 plus, maybe more than that. That group of believers worked tirelessly to make this day and time happen. We are so grateful to them and to you and to every person that helped with this project. It took all of us to make this happen, and it will take all of us to keep history moving forward. Again, thank you, and I just happen to be the son of Dr. Andrew J. Brown.
Amen.
Thank you very much. Anyone else?
My name is Ray Thompson. I have the pleasure now of serving as the pastor of St. John's Baptist Church since July. I want to, on behalf of the congregation, thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for your consideration. Fact of the matter is, nobody knows they're making history while they're making it. We live in that moment. But after history is made, after steps forward, strides forward have been made, it's important that those that come behind us don't forget. Even after we have fallen asleep, it's important that those who fought, those who struggle, to bring community together so voices can be heard, so faces can be seen. It's important that that legacy is enabled and put to live on. So we thank you again for your consideration for the St. John Baptist Church and memorializing the role it played in this city and this state and even this country. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to make any comments or statements? Yes, sir.
I'm going to read a statement from our former pastor. He wrote, it says, thank the Indiana Historical Preservation Review Board. It's with great humility and appreciation that I submit these words for the long-awaited vision and desire for the St. John's Missionary Baptist Church to be recognized and registered for its hard work, support, loyalty, and longevity in the community. As the recently retired pastor for 33 years with this great church and congregation, with pride and heartfelt gratitude to the dedicated committee members for the time and effort involved in fulfilling the dreams of all members, both past and present. Sincerely submitted, very much.
Thank you. And sir, just since we're keeping minutes, could we have your name as well, please?
Ron Davey, Deacon Ron Davey, DBID.
Thank you, Deacon. Appreciate it. Any other comments? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Rita Harris, and I've been a member of St. John's Missionary Baptist Church since October of 1956. So almost 50 years. But anyhow, I wrote something that I wanted to read about St. John's. I consider the 1701 Dr. Andrew J. Brown Avenue building to be a historic and sacred place. I started my Christian journey there in October 1956 at 3 years of age, almost 69 years ago now. My first memories of God and worship are connected to that building erected over 100 years ago. There, I was baptized, studied God's word, learned to work in ministries, and worship there in that building until the newer sanctuary was built. I remain a member of St. John's today because of its deep and abiding influence in my entire life. At the 1701 building, under the leadership of former pastor Reverend Dr. Andrew J. Brown, I was enlightened to and participated in the civil rights movement, as well as other programs for social changes, resulting in a better quality of life for all people in Indiana. Dr. Brown remained close to my family until his death in 1996. As a teenager, I met the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and many other national leaders and celebrities even at the 1701 building. Some of those persons that I met there who were also working for social change included Ralph Abernathy, Reverend Jesse Jackson, a couple of celebrities, Lou Gossett Jr., Clarence Williams III, and Demond Wilson. I was introduced to and worked in Operation Breadbasket, which continues now under Indiana Christian Leadership Conference is the organization that it continues under now. I worked in Indiana Black Expo and various other community action groups, which had their founding and development within the walls of the 1701 building. Most, if not all, of the civil rights marches, pickets, and other demonstrations for equal rights in Indianapolis and the surrounding areas were organized inside the walls of the 1701 building. I have quite a bit more, but I'll stop there.
Thank you, Rita. That was wonderful. Appreciate it. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, good afternoon. My name is Eunice Trotter, and I am Director of Indiana Landmarks Black Heritage Preservation Program. And it is through the work of this program that this particular application is here today. You'll hear from another, but it's so critical that we as a community do all that we can to preserve the history and the heritage of sites such as St. John's Missionary Baptist Church. We're working statewide, and I want you to know that we will soon come before you again with an application for the Martindale area to be designated as an important, significant Black heritage site. Yes.
Thank you, Eunice.
Hi, my name is Deborah Scott. I am a member of the St. John Missionary Baptist Church. I've been for 20 years plus. I just stand to my feet to simply say thank you for giving us an opportunity to speak today. And I want to thank the ministers, both past and present, that worked so diligently to bring us to this day. It was certainly not a one-man effort. It was certainly a community-wide effort, and I'm so appreciative. I want to thank not only the ministers, but I want to thank the church leaders because they selflessly gave of their time. And I say thank you. For the community, I say thank you. Because oftentimes at St. John, we would have programs and we would just simply air over one of the broadcasts that an event was taking place, and people would just come from everywhere to help out. And oftentimes that did not involve pay. For that, I say thank you. Most importantly, today, I stand to my feet, say thank you to the Most High Deity that made it all possible.
Amen.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Would anyone else care to give a comment today? Okay, thank you very much for everything you had to say and the enlightenment there. With that, do we have a motion for forwarding this application to the National Park Service in Washington DC for further state and federal approvals?
I so move Keller.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second that, Seaver.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Motion carries. Yeah, I'm gonna ask the folks to hang on for one more nomination, and then we're gonna take a 5-minute break in case you have somewhere else to be this afternoon. You're definitely gonna be welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, but I did want to give those a chance who needed to move on that opportunity. But we're gonna do one more application here, one more nomination, pardon me. And this is the Spruce Street AME Church and Parsonage.
Thank you. The congregation formed in 1893 and built a wood frame church at the current site circa 1905. Reverend S.A. Mitchum became the pastor in 1926 and guided the church through construction of the current brick church and frame bungalow parsonage. Trained as a contractor, mason, and bridge builder, Mitchum attended Tuskegee Institute, where he formally studied building arts. Evidence indicates that Mitchum designed and built the church and parsonage himself. The church served as both a spiritual and cultural focal point for the Spruce Street neighborhood and for Black citizens of Terre Haute. In the 1960s, civil rights activities, always a significant part of the mission of Black churches, found a home at Spruce Street AME Church. The church held theatrical performances and talks relating to civil rights. The local NAACP chapter held social events and meetings there, and the pastor was the executive director of the Terre Haute Human Relations Commission in the late 1960s. The property is eligible under Criterion A in the area of ethnic heritage. Reverend Mitchum's design combines elements of the one-room vernacular rural church form with simple Tudor Revival elements, qualifying the building under Criterion C in the area of architecture. Staff recommends approval for the state and national registers.
Thank you, Holly. Any questions from the board members or comments? And Ms. Trotter, I see that you are also available for questions or further comment as well.
And also the pastor, Reverend Tess Brooks is here. She'd like to say it.
Good afternoon, everyone. How's everybody doing? I am very excited, because this church is one of 2 AME churches in the city. This is the sister church to Historic Allen Chapel, which is already on the register. And also, the unique connection of these 2 churches also extends to the Lost Creek area in Terre Haute. So it's just a rich, rich legacy there for Spruce Street and the neighborhood. That church is located in a historical neighborhood where there were prominent during that time frame, middle class, what they would call nowadays middle class workers that were African American. There was a pharmacist, a doctor, a mailman, a dentist. I think all were historic residents of the Spruce Street neighborhood. So it's just really, really, I'm humbled, because I'm standing here representing them. Some have gone on and others are too old to travel. But yeah, this is really a huge, huge thing for the community, and I'm sure that they would actually, now that I'm thinking about it, my great auntie came here with me today. It is her father-in-law is one of the her would be her father-in-law's father. So I guess that'll be your grandfather-in-law. Her grandfather-in-law. Yeah, I have to think my way through that. Sorry, her grandfather-in-law is one of the founding members of Spruce Street and one of the ones that helped establish it on that one.
Wonderful. Thank you. Any other comments?
I'll make a comment. Again, thank you for bringing this nomination before the board, for doing all of the hard work to make this nomination happen. The community and the church members and former church members, I salute you.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay. With that, do we have a motion to forward this application on to the National Park Service in Washington, DC for further federal and state approvals?
I would love to make the motion to further this on April Siebert.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I would like to second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion from the board? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. We are going to take a 5-minute break. I want to thank everybody for traveling today, for your time, for your passion, and you're welcome to stay if you'd like. But if not, we'll resume in about 5 minutes, which would be about 2:10. Thank you very much. Okay, we'll call the meeting back to order. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. Next up, we're going to move back to item number 4 on the agenda under National Register nominations, the Alcona Country Club.
Thank you. In 1957, Elkhart industrialists and business leaders formed the Alcona Country Club and convinced fellow business leader Ernest Sims to sell his farm just east of Elkhart for the endeavor. The group hired Sims' childhood friend, master course designer Bill Diddle, to lay out the course on 257 acres. Diddle's course is of the strategic type, allowing players to choose several options for successful play of a given hole. The course features a significant Diddle trademark element, a false front, which is a steep edge that forces the player to chip over to a flat section of the green. An array of support buildings is scattered throughout the property. The property meets criterion A in the area of entertainment and recreation and criterion C in the area of landscape architecture. Staff recommends approval for the state and national registers.
Thank you, Holly. Any questions from the board members? I don't believe we have anybody here that has signed up to ask questions today. Maybe we do, perhaps.
Well, I'm Tom Tomey. I'm the general manager at Alcona Country Club, retired golf professional there, and would just like to thank the state and Kurt. Thank you for your time, and I know the members of the club are really excited about this and remain vibrant for years and years to come. So thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
to the board.
Appreciate that. Any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. Do we have a motion to forward this application on for further federal and state approvals?
I so move. Jason Ryerson.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second, Shaw.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries. Just a second.
I'm good.
Okay. Next, we have the St. Mary Byzantine Catholic Parish campus.
Thank you. The site includes the church, rectory, parish hall, memorial cross, bell tower, plaza, and plaza dome, with construction dates ranging from circa 1920 to 1986. The parish has roots extending to 1899, when the congregation purchased buildings and land from a Lutheran congregation at the present location. The significance of the property centers around criterion A in the area of ethnic heritage. Whiting developed rapidly after Standard Oil built a large plant in town in 1890. The town attracted many immigrants from Eastern Europe. Among them were numerous Ruthenians, former subjects of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. The parish property, through the decades, has been the most significant property associated with this ethnic group. The church has been altered by the congregation over the years as part of their ongoing use of the property. The property meets criterion C for its architecture. The church still conveys the Eastern European building traditions that mark the parish's ethnicity. The newer installations from the 1970s are locally significant new formalist style resources. The property meets criterion consideration A as a religious property. Staff recommends approval for the state and national registers.
Thank you, Holly. Any questions, comments from the board? Once again, I don't believe we have any member of the public here to be able to answer questions or provide comment. So with that, do we have a motion for forwarding this application on to the National Park Service in Washington DC for further state and federal approvals.
I
Make
so
that
move.
motion.
Sean?
We have 3 people who picked 2.
Sounds like rock, paper, scissors.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Oops.
Can we clarify who made the motion and who seconded? I don't,
Aiden made the motion.
Dan made the
Okay.
motion.
Chandler, okay, thank you.
Chandler, thanks. Appreciate that. Okay, back to that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Next, we have the Tipton Courthouse Square Historic District.
The district was and is the historic civic and commercial core of Tipton. The earliest surviving buildings date to the early 1880s and are brick Italianate style blocks. Other architectural styles represented in the district include Queen Anne, Second Empire, Romanesque Revival, Classical Revival, and Colonial Revival. A number of buildings in the district doubled as headquarters for fraternal lodges. These, along with the governmental landmarks, represent the civic role of the district. The district meets criterion A for its association with commerce, government, and transportation. The buildings that give the district its significance in those areas also contribute to the architectural importance of the district under criterion C. Likewise, the rows of commercial blocks contribute to the concentration of business activity and to the architectural significance of the district. Staff recommends approval for the state and national registers.
Thank you, Holly. Any questions or comments from the board members? I don't believe we have any members of the public here on this one as well. With that said, do we have a motion to forward this application on for further state and federal approvals?
I'll move that we forward this application on to the state and national registers.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second, Jason Larson.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Next, we have the Edgewater Place Historic District.
The certified local government of South Bend performed the initial review of this application. Some development had taken place in the late 19th century east and southeast of downtown South Bend, but in 1919, developers and builders Whitcomb and Keller purchased land in the area and created a planned neighborhood. The firm built about 56 of the district's 80 houses, mostly between 1919 and 1930. The district meets the registration requirements outlined in historic residential suburbs in the United States, 1830 to 1960, a multiple property document form. The district meets criterion A in the area of community planning and development as a locally significant planned neighborhood created by one of the community's most noted developers. An integral part of the community planning aspect of Edgewater Place was its architecture, and it meets criterion C. The district includes a significant collection of American Foursquare, bungalow, craftsman, and period revival houses aimed at South Bend's merchant and white-collar housing market. South Bend's economic ties and proximity to Chicago resulted in a number of houses with prairie school design influences. Whitcomb and Keller also catered to the growing interest in period houses, including Colonial Revival, Dutch Colonial Revival, and Tudor Revival. Staff recommends approval for the state and national registers.
Thank you, Holly. Any questions for Holly or comments? Yes, Scott?
Not by Keller, a different Keller.
But you're not recusing yourself then.
No.
Any other questions or comments? And I don't believe we have any members of the public here today. Okay. With that, do we have a motion to forward this application on for further state and federal approvals?
I'll make the motion, Lady.
Thank you.
Second, Keller.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Motion carries. Thank you. And lastly, we have Taylorsfield Historic District.
The certified local government of South Bend performed the initial review of this application as well. The name of the district derives from Colonel Lathrop Taylor, an early Euro-American settler and co-founder of South Bend. The Taylor family held a large portion of the land that comprises the district aside for years before the heirs platted it in 1893. The district includes mostly large wood frame single-family houses, which vary in style from Queen Anne to Craftsman Bungalow and American Foursquare to vernacular gable variations. The district is eligible under criterion C in the area of architecture for its collection of late 19th and early 20th century houses and buildings, and staff recommends approval for the state and national registers.
Thank you, Holly. Any questions or comments? And I don't believe we have any members of the public here either. So with that, do we have a motion to forward this application on for further state and federal approvals?
I so move, Shaw.
Thank you. We have a second.
I'll second, Seaver.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. And that concludes the National Register application portion of our agenda. For those of you who would like to stay for the remainder of the meeting, fine, but if not, thank you for your travel. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next up, we have certificates of approval. The first is an application by the Indiana War Memorials Commission and Indiana Department of Administration for a C of A to alter the American Legion building at 700 North Pennsylvania Street.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The application notes the American Legion building at 777 North Meridian Street, currently the Indiana Veterans Center, was the first building to be constructed for the national headquarters in 1924 to 25. The building at 700 North Pennsylvania Street was built for the American Legion national headquarters in 1948 to 50 due to the need for additional space. Both buildings are contributing resources within the Indiana World War Memorial Plaza Historic District, which was listed in the National Register of Historic Places. The district was designated a National Historic Landmark, and it was expanded in 2016 to include the Soldiers and Sailors Monument and renamed the Indiana War Memorials Historic District. Because historic structures owned by the state of Indiana will be altered by a project using funds of the state, it is appropriate that the Indiana War Memorials Commission and the Indiana Department of Administration has applied for a certificate of approval pursuant to Indiana code. According to the application, the scope of work includes replacing 353 windows at 700 North Pennsylvania Street and 205 windows at 777 North Meridian Street. It is staff's understanding that the current aluminum windows were installed around 1970, replacing the original wood windows. Based on historic drawings and photos, the current windows appear to be similar in type, configuration, and dimensions to the original fenestration, which were 1/1 double-hung windows. The project proposes to replace all existing windows in kind with new extruded aluminum units in the same configuration. Staff has consulted with the Indiana War Memorials, Department of Administration, and their contractors on potential replacement window products, reviewing cut sheets and product literature in order to assist in the selection of a window with similar dimensions and appearance to the existing windows and the earlier historic windows. Based on analysis of the submitted preliminary cut sheets for the St. Cloud window 3060-A4 offset fixed, staff agrees with the contractor that this option appears to be appropriate in maintaining the historic appearance of the American Legion building's double-hung windows. Critical to identifying an acceptable replacement is matching the width of the meeting rail and offset between the upper and lower sashes where they overlap, as well as having similar sash frame dimensions to the existing windows. While the new windows will have the appearance and configuration of a true double-hung operable window, they will be fixed in place or inoperable once installed. The scope of work also includes replacing the vertical panels immediately above and below the windows. According to the application, the replacement panels will be similar to the existing, and both the windows and panels will have a dark bronze finish. If a certificate of approval is granted, the staff recommends that the board condition the certificate on the following. 1, that replacement windows and panels shall be substantially similar in type, design, frame dimensions, sight lines, and appearance to the existing double-hung windows and/or the original historic windows as documented. 2, The Indiana War Memorials Commission and the Indiana Department of Administration shall provide DHPA with final product selection and specifications for the replacement windows and panels to verify conformance with above condition for staff approval prior to requisition and installation. 3, the certificate of approval shall be valid through October 22nd, 2030. Thank you.
Thank you, Chad. Any questions from the members of the board? We do have folks in the audience that will also be available to answer any questions if needed. Questions, comments? No. Hearing none, do we have a motion to grant the certificate of approval with the incorporation of the staff recommended conditions?
So moved.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second, lady.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries. Next, we have an application by the Indiana Department of Natural Resources, Division of State Parks for a certificate of approval to demolish the civilian conservation corps group camp comfort station at Shakamak State Park in Greene County.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The group camp comfort station was constructed in the 1930s by the Civilian Conservation Corps and is a contributing building within the Shakamak State Park Historic District, which was listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Funding for the project will come from Indiana DNR Division of State Parks. Because a structure listed in the National Register and the Indiana Register will be demolished by a project funded by the state, it is appropriate that the Division of State Parks has applied for a certificate of approval from the board pursuant to Indiana Code. According to the application, the group camp comfort station has been out of use as a restroom facility for over 10 years, and it has since been used as a storage building. When the comfort station was vacated, restrooms were incorporated into the existing dormitories. The building is currently in a state of disrepair, including severe exterior envelope deterioration and wildlife infestation. Over the years, the building has been extensively remodeled and most of the original building materials have been replaced. The Department of Natural Resources Division of Engineering provided cost estimates for the remodeling of the existing building for storage versus demolition of the building with subsequent new construction of a storage building. Although the comfort station is not proposed for replacement at this time, remodeling the existing building is estimated to be more than twice the cost to demolish and construct a purpose-built storage building. Therefore, the Indiana DNR Division of State Parks believes that it's infeasible and would like to demolish the group camp comfort station at this time. In terms of archaeology, it is our understanding that the demolition activities will be limited to the existing footprint of the building and that no additional ground disturbance will occur. If a certificate of approval is granted, staff recommends that the board condition the certificate on the following. The Indiana Division of State Parks shall document the group camp comfort station in accordance with the DHPA minimum architectural documentation standards. A draft copy of the documentation shall be submitted to DHPA for comment, and a final copy incorporating any requested edits or changes shall be approved by DHPA prior to any demolition work.
Thank you, Chad. Any questions or comments from the members of the board? And we do have a couple folks from State Parks in the room to answer questions as well, if there are any.
I have a couple of questions. The first one is simply, so there are no plans currently to replace this with another storage building on site?
That's
at this time?
Yes.
Okay. And then my second question is, so there's wildlife in that building. In order to imagine the condition of that building, can you give me a little more? I mean, are we talking raccoons, groundhogs?
Raccoons in the attic.
Okay,
You have Mike had, you got it for it.
Yeah, correct. I'm Michael Johnson, and I was told by the assistant property manager that the building had raccoons in the attic. I also has been mentioned, there was hornets living in the structure that stung me. And I observed a snake skin hanging off of the edge of the roof there, so there's, who knows what else is in there, there might be bats or anything else in there, but it's very unfortunate.
Thank you for that. It's a good picture.
Any other questions from, yes, Scott?
Just an observation. I think the CCC conducted or built many such structures in many, many dozens of state and national parks nationwide. So if this were the last one, I'd feel differently, but it is not, and clearly it's not very spectacular anyway. So I don't think we need to be a moment's loss.
Thank you.
Sorry.
No, please.
Is there anything within the state parks, like an interpretive, CCC educational panel or something that would explain, how the buildings came to be there?
I don't know off the top of my head, but in most or all of the properties that had CCC companies, we have the CCC interpretive panel. I couldn't tell you where Check Magnet is located, but I would almost certainly have one there. And if we don't, we can certainly have one list there.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Okay, hearing none. We have a motion to grant the certificate of approval with the incorporation of the staff recommended conditions.
I so move.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. Next in your packet is the quarterly progress report by NDOT in fulfillment of Condition 9 of the C of A to alter the Westfield Historic District and demolish or remove historic structures in Westfield. And no action is needed there, just an update, but I know Linda also is in the room in case there'd be any questions of Linda.
I do have a question. I saw some stuff on Facebook that the building is ready to be moved, but it's in very poor condition. It's Facebook, so I don't know if that's true, but I just kind of wanted to get an idea of what the status of the structure is, structurally and aesthetics.
Unfortunately, I don't think anyone is here from NDOT to answer that from the agency perspective. I or Linda might be able to give a update on what we know about the building. I don't know. Linda would like to, again, understanding Linda is an advocate for the building. She is not representing NDOT or the agency.
No, I'm on the advisory team established by the COA. I have pictures of the building from recently, a week or so ago. It's becoming famous. Well, no, the ones I have here are August. But there hasn't been a lot of care taken in wrapping the building or protecting the building. We've requested that several times from the advisory team. I've requested it. We've had citizens request it. We're still told it will be able to be saved. They'll have to replace the sills on the bottom of the building because those were kind of destroyed based on where it was sitting originally. The holdup in moving it right now is because of NDOT is overseeing the electrical with Duke. So the poles still exist, so the building can't be moved. They are now saying that after the first of the year, they'll have all that buried underground and then can move the building because the building is going to have a basement at its new location, a little north on Union Street. They don't think they should put a basement in the winter time. So that again, may be a timing issue with it. There was, before it was put up on its stilt, it's not stilt, it's big wooden structure that it's on. We're paying every month renting that from Wolf Movers. So it's an expense, $100 a day to keep that up there. So I think people would be in a hurry to get it moved as soon as we can. But before that was raised, the city did go in, the city workers went in and put wooden structures, bracing around the whole bottom of the building, hopefully to maintain the integrity. And we're told that all the beams are in good shape. They're very old. But because it's all open windows and doors and they rip so much off of it, we would certainly like to see it wrapped and protect before we get to the winter. It's been through quite a few storms already in Westfield. So we're still hoping to move it. We just recently, the end of September, the Board of Public Works signed the contract with the construction company who will rehabilitate it and restore it. So if you're reading Facebook, you're probably seeing a lot of things. A lot of, some people have said just tear it down to waste the money, but it's becoming more and more well-known throughout the area and beyond. And they do call it the green building, which it won't be a green building in the end. So we're excited about that. We're excited the contract was signed. It's been a long time, but we will persevere and still be here when it moves.
Thank you. Any questions for Linda? Appreciate the update.
Sure.
Thanks. And there's no action needed on this item. So moving to the next agenda item is the list of properties listed in, rejected by, or removed from the National Register since the last notification listed. And our next meeting date will be January 14th of 2026. Right here at the same time, same place. And I just wanted to say before we adjourn, thank you again for all the board's hard work and stick-to-itiveness as we're continuing to wait for some additional appointments to the board to fill out some vacancies and to help fill in some positions for those of you who wish to retire. And I really appreciate you being here today and also for everything that the staff does for all of these meetings and for the live streaming and helping these go smoothly. So with that, we're adjourned. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next year, if not before.